Imagine having a child or a loved one who's been in a terrible accident and not having the proper insurance or the financial means to afford the life-changing care that they need. Recovery shouldn't depend on your finances, but for so many families, sadly, it does. That's why what Corinne and Lily's family have created is so extraordinary. The Lily Jones Patient Assistance Fund gives families a chance to focus on healing, not hospital bills. It's a beautiful way to honor Lily's compassion and to continue her legacy of helping others. This evening is not a fundraiser. Nobody's going to ask for anything tonight. It's a Friendraiser. It's a chance to learn about this new fund and the doors it will open for families in their time of need. It's a chance for you to get to know Lily and Corinne and hear their stories. We hope they will inspire you to give in the future. We're truly fortunate to have Bryn Mawr Rehab in our backyard, and even more fortunate to have a community that takes care of its own. What I find very interesting, in addition to their comprehensive list of therapies, they offer a few that take an innovative and creative approach. Art therapy, music therapy, equine therapy, and horticulture therapy. Simple activities that we take for granted every day, but can be immensely beneficial to someone in recovery. The floral arrangements here tonight were actually created by patients in the horticulture program. I hope you've had a chance to meet Miss Lily Jones and her incredible family tonight. With their help and Corinne's, Bryn Mawr Rehab has prepared a short video documenting her brave recovery journey. I hope that her story and her smile inspire you as much as it does me. Thanks again for coming. We appreciate all of you.
When I first saw a picture of Lily, I thought she was just absolutely gorgeous. But when I finally met Lily in 2014, I realized she was also this incredible individual. And met her family, I immediately fell in love with all of them and realized all were very special. Talking about this is incredibly emotional because it just brings back so many memories. December is the time when Lily actually had her accident. This year it's going to be 9 years.
It was a snowstorm, and I was really nervous because she had just come out of the ICU, and she was in what's called an emergent state where she really was still in a coma. But from the minute we got to Bryn Mawr Rehab, the compassion and the skill of everybody was just so apparent. They got right into the therapy. I just knew we had made the right decision from the minute we got there. From the doctors to the therapists to everyone at the rehab hospital are so committed, and they just give their all, and we are so grateful and fortunate to have Bryn Mawr Rehab in our backyard. And Lily would not be where she is today without the committed care and expert care that she received.
The minute I walked through the door, I realized Bryn Mawr Rehab was this incredibly special place, and when I finally got a chance to serve on the board, I was very excited because I wanted to continue the incredible impact that I had on Lily, and hopefully, at some point, by being a board member, that I could do something that would hopefully impact other families. So I named it the Lily Jones Patient Assistance Fund because Lily is an incredible, amazing human, a very special woman in my life. I'm hoping that the endowment will inspire people, just knowing that Lily's involved in it, because I hope people will pick up the book and read about her and how incredibly strong she is. I wanted to build something that had a lasting impact, something that was going to be sustainable. Many folks, when they leave the hospital, don't have the resources to continue their rehab.
And I think we're going to be able to reach more more people and help more people, and that's what it's all about.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Tonight is a very emotional night for me. This month is very emotional, as I just said in the book here, but it's incredibly special to see so many people show up and to see Lee here with us 9 years later. It's special. I want to begin by thanking Ms. Caroline Moran for your continuous support on so many levels, so many different efforts. You made this possible tonight, so I want to thank you for providing this statement. You know, I kind of have some remarks here, but I don't really think that I need them. You know, this drive that I made this afternoon was a drive that I made for many, many months. From Philly to the Bryn Rehab, a kid who was navigating the Philly streets and the Philly lights, and then driving here and putting on my high beams at night was, you know, was a little different. And so I made this drive. It was really interesting because I spent a lot of time on these back roads and learning the roads. And, there was a point where I stopped using my GPS because I was just very familiar with the area. I'm probably the only guy from inner city Philadelphia who knows the area quite well. But, you know, we're here tonight to celebrate Lily to talk about the Patient Assistance Fund and the impact that the Bryn Rehab Hospital has had on Lily, but also her family, myself, including, you know, as I said, I think I was probably coming here maybe 8 months, and I would leave work almost 5 o'clock on the dot every day, and I would send a text to Evie or to Richie just to communicate, figure out what's going on that day, how Lily's doing, that I was going to be there. And the days that I couldn't make it to the hospital, it was devastating to me. You know, work wasn't really a priority. My priority was Lily. You know, when we saw that the video, the picture we saw of Lily in the ICU, you know, when she was in that state, I told Lily, I whispered to her, I said, if you decide to make it, and you decide to live, I'll show up, I'll be here. And 9 years later, I'm standing here. And it's incredible to watch an individual fight for their life, as Lily did in the hospital. And each day we showed up as a group. There were so many of you, I think you're probably in the audience today, who showed up and was in the waiting room in the early days when Lily was fighting, when we got the news that she had just, you know, 7 days to potentially make it. And it became hours and minutes, and we were all just anxiously waiting to hear about her recovery. And miraculously, Lily made it out of the ICU at Christiana and ended up at Bryn Rehab Hospital. And during my time there, I got to know the community. I got to know the different therapists, the nurses. Everyone poured so much into Lily, into the family. I know each year, every time I walked into the hospital, I just felt welcome. I felt like there was real hope. There was a real opportunity for Lily to actually to heal and to become herself again. Normally, you know, you hear doctors and they give you diagnoses and they tell you, maybe things are going to happen and it may work or may not work. But when I was at Bryn Rehab, I felt like Lily was going to be Lily again. And, you know, I got to participate in therapy, which was cool. I got to watch Lily really get better each day and every day. And I remember the first day that I walked into the rehab, and Lily was still dealing with what they called storming. But I immediately felt that she was going to that was going to go away, and Lily was going to be herself again. Fast forward several years, I get a call from Evie, or a call or email asking about joining the Bryn Rehab board. And I immediately said yes. And I've been asked to join quite a few boards. And when I think about joining boards, I want to be able to join a board and actually have a real impact. And when I was talking with Evie about joining the Bryn Rehab board, it was, well, okay, what can I actually do? How can I have an impact on the board? And we thought about the Lily Jones Patient Assistance Fund. I'll get into a quick story. March in March of 2020, I lost my oldest brother, David. And David was a victim of gun violence. He was shot in the head. And I'll never forget the day walking into the hospital. And this crazy part for me was there was a time when I walked into the hospital leaving, she had a towel covered over her head. And I walked into the hospital and I saw the exact same image of my brother. But the different outcome, there was two different outcomes. My brother didn't live, but Lily survived. And when I was thinking about the fund, and I was thinking about the impact that this fund could have and what I could do, it was immediately went back to my brother and thought about, well, what if my brother actually survived a gunshot wound? Would he actually have the care and the resources to live a meaningful, decent life? I know that's all relative, right? But what would have happened to my brother? You know, fortunately, Billy comes from this amazing family. Richie, Evie, Philip, Olivia, Liddy, Annie, Hillary, Tim, so many people I know. I'm sorry, Josh. So many folks. There's so many people here that that surrounded her, that's giving her the power and the will to want to live and to fight. And so I kind of thought about my brother, and you know, this is not asking for sympathy, but you know, I don't come from the same background, and there are many people who don't have the means and the resources that would actually give them the hope or the will to want to live. And you know, I'm a person that I wake up every day and I see the glass half full. Right? That gives me the drive, that gives me the ability to wake up and to believe that I can do almost anything. I can't imagine being in a situation where there's an individual who went through a horrible accident and you know they can't get out of their house to just go to therapy, right? Where they can't purchase a wheelchair just to get around. And I'm almost certain that person does not see the glass as half full, right? So when I think about this fund, it's about giving people hope. It's about allowing people to believe, right? It's about giving people who unfortunately went through a incident or accident that completely altered their life. But we're here today, and we can all make a huge difference. We can all contribute in a small way or big way, or figure out how to really grow this fund so that people wake up every day and believe and have the will to live. When we're talking about this fund, originally the goal was $50,000, but I'm not sure how many people are familiar with the cost of actually staying in a hospital, right? I thought that was a great goal. Let's dream big. Let's have a huge impact. Let's change lives. So we decided to up that goal to $1 million, right? You know, you think about an endowment, you put it into some sort of safe investment that throws off 2 or 3%. That's maybe 1 or 2, 3 people you can help a year in a meaningful way. But we're going to grow that fund. We're going to do it as a collective. We're going to push it. We're going to share the word. We're going to tell people about, you know, what does it actually mean to be a caretaker? What does it mean to be a survivor? And it's going to take this group it's going to take this group here to actually make a difference. I'll just close by saying thank you. I'm incredibly grateful that this group is here. I'm incredibly grateful for all of you for being in my life, for being in Lily's life, our family. Believe it or not, you all have made a huge difference. Just the commitment that shows up, the text messages, the posts on social media, the highs, the hugs, the kisses, that's honestly what keeps us going. So I encourage people to continue that, but also encourage people to continue to share the word about the Willie Jones Endowment Fund, the impact that's going to have in this community. So thank you. And now I'm going to invite Rose.
Tonight we gather around one simple truth. When life changes in an instant, the right care and the right support can change everything. For the Dutton family and for Corinne, this mission is deeply personal. And for patients who will benefit, it can truly be life-changing. Currently, we have a patient assistance fund but because it isn't endowed, we must constantly replenish it. The creation of the Lily Jones Endowment will ensure that the help is always available for patients in need, today and for generations to come. As you saw in the video, Lily has a remarkable network. Most of you are here this evening. Sadly, not all of the patients have the same safety net. We've seen individuals who face recovery alone, with families not nearby, without someone to ease their transition to home. This fund could provide a home health aid, helping them adjust more smoothly and reducing the risk of rehospitalization. Now that everyone has the support that Lily does, one young woman, just recently, 24 years old, underwent an amputation through no fault of her own, was involved in a motor vehicle accident. She needed a ramp to enter her home and modifications for her car so she could continue to drive to work and reclaim her independence. Thanks to the foundation funds, we were able to support her on the road to recovery. That is the kind of impact that this endowment can make. At Bryn Mawr Rehab, we offer advanced programs for stroke, spinal cord, cancer, brain injury, concussion care, and more. But what truly sets us apart is not just the technology, it's the personalized care, the compassion, and the commitment to each patient's journey. I invite you to learn more and to support this fund. Our foundation team, Megan Sayer, Melissa? Okay. And Rocio would be delighted to answer more questions and also give you a tour of the hospital. Thank you for being here tonight. Your presence and generosity remind us that healing is not just about medicine. It's about community, compassion, and hope. Together, we can ensure that every patient has what they need to recover and to thrive. Finally, I want to thank Caroline for her generous partnership in making this evening possible. Thanks also to Evie and Kareem for sharing their vision beyond this fund, and for all of you for joining us tonight. As Kareem mentioned, every household is asked to take a book, and he will be happy to sign it. Thank you.